Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekly morning show where we bring you the latest everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the massive drop that we have seen on Bitcoin in just the last couple of days. As you already know, Bitcoin is on the correction. We had rallied all the way up to $72,000 over the last couple of weeks, but that was not to last. About a week and a half ago, we began a descent down to about $66,000, and when we dropped down to $66,000, it was either last Monday or last Tuesday, we gave you guys a price target, and I told you that it was highly likely that Bitcoin would end up dropping down to $64,360. That's a level that's on our chart that I'm going to show you in a minute. And right now, that's exactly what we're doing. We have dropped down to about $64,360, and today I'm going to show you why that is not a bad thing. I'm going to show you why that is actually a very healthy thing and why that is a needed thing. I'm also going to show you what exactly we ought to do with that corrective movement, and we'll also talk a little bit about why that movement is occurring. If you want to know what's happening next on Bitcoin, and more importantly, how to actually build wealth in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space, then you found the right video, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, let us know in chat. I'd love to give you a shout out individually. I'm so honored and blessed that you would be here with us today, learning about financial sovereignty and how to get control over our wealth so that we can set it on a collision course with growth, so that we can live and give like no one else, so that we can have a wonderful life, and so that we can have peace. Because I tell you what, it's not an opinion, it is a fact. 50% of marriages that end because the primary reason is finance. It is not an opinion, it is a fact that finances are one of the biggest stresses on marriages and families of anything that can possibly impact a family. It's one of the biggest problems that people run into in life, is that their money is not right. It's my dream to help you get your money right so that you have a much easier time having a peaceful and joyful taste of heaven here on earth because your finances are set up correctly. So if you've not already, hit that like button. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. We're going to read a little bit of, read some names, and then we're going to get after it. Bob Riley's in chat. Drian's in chat. Jackson Crawford's in chat. Joe Bollier, Grand Roofing Incorporated. Good to see you, man. Been a minute. Philly Skills 1428 in chat. Said, yo, my guy. Jeb, how's it going, man? It's going well. It's going very well. Jeremy Shorter's in chat. Coin Operator said, hashtag FinSov. I agree. Joseph Halter said, short or Dell? Jeb, I don't think we ought to be shorting right now. And the reason I don't think we ought to be shorting right now is because we're close to the bottom that we had been predicting anyway. I'm not as confident that we're going to break through $64,000, but if we do, I'm also going to tell you where we're probably going to go. Roll Hendricks is in chat. Joel Elbs is in chat, live from London. Alex Naibo. Ernesto Humada is in chat. Said, yo, Verhoef de Fluffen is in chat. Queen and everybody else. Let's see. Anyone new here? Patrick Power, shout out to you. Josh Rung, shout out to you. Let's see. Lisa Marie Hinson said, hi, Jeb. Good morning, everybody. The Fed needs the markets to correct before they can lower rates. We are going down. Maybe. Jeb, you still have the Technical Analysis Academy? I do. The link is in the description box down below if you are interested. When Tennessee wins the College World Series, Bitcoin will turn around to the moon. I guess Bitcoin's going to crash forever. I'm just kidding. I don't even know what team that is. Was that baseball? I'm assuming that's baseball. I didn't know Tennessee played baseball, but I guess that makes sense. I'm from Tennessee. I've just never seen them play ball up there. Anyway, let's get started. Just in, Tether, the world's largest stablecoin, launches a new synthetic dollar backed by gold. Interesting. So I'm not going to play this too loud here, but it's called Alloy, right? And so this is something that Tether is going to be launching to try and create a gold-backed dollar. Very interested to see how that's going to play out. If we go to the website that they're putting up here, alloy.tether. I can spell .to. Let's see. I misspelled that. Let's see. So if we go to their website, Tether. Hang on 1 second. Should have had this up. If we go to this website, we're going to see that a tethered asset backed by Tether Gold. Tethered assets are an innovative asset category designed to track or reference assets priced through stabilization strategies like over-collateralization with liquid assets and secondary market, blah, 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 yada, yada, freaking yada. Alloy by Tether is a tethered asset intended to track the reference asset price using Tether Gold as collateral provided by the value, provide stability and value for Alloy by Tether. Not really sure what we're going to be building here and what the point of this is, but this basically seems like they're trying to build a dollar-backed, a gold-backed, like, synthetic dollar. Interesting development. I'm not sure what the move is here, to be honest with you. They've got an $8 million market capitalization. They've got 140 kilograms of gold backing it. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess they're like, oh, we've got Bitcoin-backed Tether. Let's have gold-backed dollar. Why not? So we'll see what the Fed thinks about this and what the Treasury thinks about this. I'm not sure they're going to be too happy about it, but we'll see what happens. Just something I wanted to let you guys know was going on. Tether is reaching out for the stars, right? Now, we've also got Bitcoin down 3% over the last 7 days. It is currently trading at $64,400. Ethereum is down to $33.74. It's down 4.3% over the last 7 days. Solana down 12% over the last 7 days. Binance down 5%. Binance is sitting at 576 after breaking up to a new all-time high of 712 a week and a half ago. We are currently in a corrective movement. Solana down to $133, which is a pretty cataclysmic crash, and does mean that you might have another buying opportunity for Solana. You guys know that I have some difficulties with Solana. I'm not the biggest fan of how freaking inflationary Solana is, but I do hold Solana, and I do think that it is going to end up going much higher this bull market than it already has. Dogecoin's down 15%. Cardano's down 14%. Cardano's down to 36 cents. 36 cents, right? Almost 37 cents. The last year or so, we saw Cardano at one point rally all the way up to 77 cents. It's down by over 50%, right? So Bitcoin's dropping down 20%. It's obviously the strongest in the space right now, and we see a lot of these other altcoins dropping dramatically. This is a market-wide crash. It's the only way to categorize it. Don't get on to me for calling it a crash. We've got a dozen cryptocurrencies that are down over 30%. Pretty rough season here for Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. But again, we're going to talk today about why this is actually a very healthy thing for crypto. And we're also going to talk today about why this is something that we should not be fearing, but instead this is something that we should be embracing with open arms. But what I don't want to be open is I don't want your wallet to be open. To who? A hacker. And the reason I don't want that is because I want to help you guys get out of debt. I want to help you guys get out of chaos. In the financial sovereignty way, there are two wars that you declare. The first war is on chaos. The second war is on debt. And I want to help you get out of those wars and become an investor. It's my dream, is to help you become a prosperous investor. And one of the things that you have to do to ensure that you are able to be a prosperous investor is protect yourself, which is why this stream is brought to you in part by NordVPN. NordVPN sponsored the channel, and we wanted them to because NordVPN helps to keep you safe while you're browsing online. It is that simple. There are hackers and thieves out there that want to steal from you. In biology, there's a concept of pirates and producers. If you've ever gone through a biology class, you've heard of this. And basically the way this works, it applies in human nature too, is that if you've got 10 birds all, fishing, and they're diving down to the ocean, they're catching fish, then for about every 10 birds, or whatever the ratio is different depending on the ecosystem, but for every 10 birds, there's going to be one pirate. And so there's 10 birds that make an honest living, and there's one bird that makes a living by stealing the fish from the other bird that catches the fish. Now, where am I going with this? The point is that it works that way throughout the animal kingdom, and it also works that way throughout the kingdoms of humanity. There are producers, and there are pirates. There are people that make honest living, and when there's enough people that are making an honest living, then all of a sudden, the risk to reward ratio for the thief who has no morals goes so low that it's like, man, I could steal $100,000 from this person very simply. And so when you don't have a spine and you're a little child, then you end up doing that. And so, unfortunately for you guys, there's a lot of money in crypto, which means the producers are producing, man. We're making money. But that puts a target on your back. When you start making money, it encourages people to try and hack you. So the more money you're making in crypto, the more important it is that you have NordVPN to protect you and have a shield around you. It's a virtual private network that is going to keep you safe and provide private access to the internet, especially when you're on public Wi-Fi, guys. So if you've not already signed up for NordVPN, join the legions of people in this chat that already have. Sign up for NordVPN by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb. Get 4 months free. When you do that, sign up for the 2-year plan, get protected for the entirety of the bull market. So make sure you do that. Protect yourself if you have not already. All right. Let's continue right along here. We've got a lot to cover. The first thing I want to do is I want to jump into the S&P 500 even before getting into Bitcoin, because I believe right now the S&P 500 and the Fed rate and the inflation and the Dixie and all these things are driving the Bitcoin market. Here is what I think is very interesting. Ever since May 31st, the United States stock market is up 5.79%. That's in 18 days. 18 days, right? The entire month of June, we're up almost 6%. That is a very, very strong rally. That's a very strong movement out of U.S. stocks. In 60 days, we're up over 11%. It's a very powerful movement in U.S. stocks. Why is that not transitioning into Bitcoin, right? Why is the stock market, which is normally positively correlated with Bitcoin, not leading to a rally on Bitcoin? I posit that it has something to do with the Dixie. You see, even though the stock market's been rallying, so has the Dixie. The Dixie's up almost 2% in the last couple of weeks. And the reason that the Dixie is so important is because the Dixie is negatively correlated to Bitcoin. So when the Dixie's going up, Bitcoin normally goes down. When the Dixie's going down, Bitcoin normally goes up. And depending on the climate in the inflation data, depending on the climate in the United States jobs data, the economy, and depending on the climate out of the Fed with the effective federal funds rate, you can see the impact of the Dixie or the stock market be stronger. Right now, it seems to me that the Dixie is a stronger force on the Bitcoin market than the S&P 500 is. And the reason for that, because the S&P 500 is positively correlated. When S&P is going up, Bitcoin normally goes up. When S&P is going down, Bitcoin normally goes down. It normally tracks with the stock market, goes against the Dixie. But when the Dixie is the stronger force on the Bitcoin market than the stock market is, then Bitcoin will follow the Dixie rather than will track with the Dixie, going the opposite direction of it than the stock market. And the reason I think Bitcoin is tracking so much with the Dixie, inversely tracking with it, going the opposite direction, and that's a more powerful force than the S&P, is because Jerome Powell has even signaled that we could even potentially see another rate hike, right? Hopefully we don't, but we might. It's seeming like we might not even get a rate drop this year like we were originally told we probably would. In the December meeting last year, we live streamed this. He showed a chart. Jerome Powell showed a scatter plot on the projector behind him, and he polled all however many was it? There's 12 members on the FOMC, right? 5 permanent, 7 from the different bank, and then they revolve, and 1's from New York, right? So 12. There were 12 people on the FOMC, and they were polled, and every single one of them predicted that you would see at least a 25 basis point drop this year. It's getting to the point now that the year's already halfway over, and it's starting to look like we might not see any rate drops this year. It's starting to look like the stock market's going to have to go into some kind of crash, and the consumer price index is going to have to drop dramatically for the Fed to start dropping rates. And so that's leading to this strengthening of the dollar, because we have kept rates high and higher than most other developed economies in the world for longer, and we've kept them higher than the ECB, than the Bank of Canada, right? Than the Japanese central bank, than the European central bank, the ECB. All these different banks, they're not as high, and they've not been as high for as long. We started hiking sooner, and we kept them higher for longer. And so that is leading to strengthen the dollar, because the dollar has the backing of the United States economy, whereas the European Central Bank has the backing of the EU, not as strong of an economy. The Japanese have the backing of the Japanese currency, right? Not as strong as the dollar. The British have the backing of the pound sterling, not as powerful as the United States dollar. So forth and so on. So the dollar has been gaining in strength because of the Fed's monetary policy of keeping interest rates higher for longer than any other bank, which has led to the strengthening of the dollar against the other assets of the world. And that's something that's really been happening so far this year. You can see in the last 180 days or so far this year, the Dixie is up 5%. If you plot that over Bitcoin, then what you're going to see is that the BTC USD chart, as the Dixie has been rallying, the Bitcoin market has really been slowing down, especially since this rally right here on Dixie. Especially since we started seeing this rally here right around the Ides of March, right? We saw the Bitcoin market flatline. And so the Bitcoin market, while it wants to track with the S&P 500, it wants to track with the S&P 500, and while this breakout on S&P 500 will end up driving Bitcoin to the upside as time goes on, Right now, the Bitcoin market is being suppressed because the Dixie is continuing to appear strong. Now, that could be ending soon, right? We could see a Fed rate drop. That might lead to a drop on the Dixie. We could start to see inflation coming under control, which would make it more likely that the Fed will drop rates, which could lead to a decrease in strength of the dollar. But regardless, the strength of the dollar being right here is one of the biggest impactors on Bitcoin, and so that is where a lot of our headwinds are coming from. But what happens next? You see, last week, right here, I think it was on Tuesday, we dropped down to $66,144. You can see right here, we dropped down on this wick right here, right above my cursor, on Tuesday, June the 11th. We dropped down to $66,000. We predicted that Bitcoin would drop down to $64,360. You can go watch the video. It went out a week ago today. This was our prediction on a week ago today's video. We predicted it would drop down to $64,360. The next day I was made to look like a fool because it ended up rallying up to $70,000, right? But we still had that prediction. We still said, look, it can very likely and probably will go down to $64,360. And that's what happened. It took a week, but it did do it. The next day we had a big rally, didn't end up materializing. We had a red-green-red formation, blow off top, massive long upper shadow, upper candle wick here, which indicated that the bulls tried and they got swatted down. And so, just like in that cereal commercial where Shaq's like, not in my house, that was Bitcoin right there. Just whoosh, just get down. And so Bitcoin went through the correction here. And so we're down to 64,360. Why is that important? Well, 64,360 was the level that we drew, and the reason that we said this level was probably going to happen was because if you go back and watch that video, our daily dose of cryptocurrency video we do at 2 p.m. every single weekday, we talked about this. There was a level of flat resistance here at 64,360, a level of flat resistance here at 64,360, level of flat resistance here, and here, and here, and support here. So 64,360, sorry for sounding like a broken record, was a level that we've been talking about, and it happened. Why? Well, the reason that it happened was because Bitcoin has not finished its distribution. We are in a correction, but we're actually almost more so in distribution, right? As you can see, we've mostly been trading sideways here. We had this huge uptrend. And instead of crashing, we're actually basically just trading sideways. That's what this triangle represents here, this cone. It represents the fact that we didn't just rally and then come right back down in this super acute angle. No, we've got this obtuse angle. It's like 120 degrees or so. The line that best fits this market and this market creates this cone. And this angle shows us that the bulls are still very much in control. And the reason for that is because they are not allowing the market to just crash. If this were our angle right here, right, then that would be something that we would be more concerned about because it would show that the bears are in control. But instead, we've got this very obtuse angle here, which shows that the bulls, even though they're tired, even though they're worn out from tripling the price of Bitcoin, they're still leading the market to generally trading sideways. Bitcoin dropped 20%, but it's actually only about 10% below its all-time high that it set 2.5 months ago. So Bitcoin is looking very strong. 3.5 months ago. I'm sorry. So Bitcoin is looking very strong. What does that mean for us? That means for us that as the market is distributing, we can be investing. See, there's two different things that a market does after a major rally. I guess three things. The first thing is that you just keep rallying, right? But the other two things that happen after a major rally are this. One, you enter into a correction. And the correction occurs because you see that the bulls absolutely spent themselves. Man, they put everything into this rally, right? They just went full bore ham. They did everything they could, and it leaves this blow off top. This is the first thing that Bitcoin can do when it goes into a major bull market or into a major rally. It has this blow off top and then just absolutely crashes. That's what happened at the end of 2016 and moving on into, or at the end of 2017, moving into 2018. Bulls rallied extremely quickly. And after we hit the top, I remember watching this live at $20,000. I watched this happen live. Like literally, I was looking at my screen when we hit all-time high in 2017. I remember this like it was yesterday. We dropped 50%, 10% a day for 5 days. We dropped from 20 grand to 10,300 in 5 days. That is the first thing that can happen. The bulls get so carried away and they're so high that this is more of a true top. If you see this big peak like this, that probably was actually the top, right? And the reason that we're able to say that that was probably actually the top is because Bitcoin didn't do the second thing that it can do, or I guess if you include just continuing to rally, the third thing, but Bitcoin had that peak and just crashed. The second thing Bitcoin can do is that it can go into distribution. You can go through correction, you can go through distribution. Here in 2019, we didn't go through a correction. We were correcting, but a better word for it is distribution. Instead of the market flash crashing, Bitcoin instead changed hands, and Bitcoin was sold to the highest bidder, right? Sold on the market, but there was enough buying pressure to keep it afloat. And so because there was enough buying pressure to keep the market afloat, it allowed the bulls to retain confidence that a bull market was coming. And of course, we would go through this major correction starting right here because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But if not for the COVID-19 pandemic kicking off right around, really getting big right around Valentine's Day 2020, then we probably would have seen Bitcoin go on the 2020 bull market anyway because of the 4-year halving cycle. Instead of seeing the blow off top, like at the end of a bull market, what we're seeing right now is distribution. We've got this distribution, this sideways trading, which is the same thing that happened down here. Well, back here, if you just draw the market like this, right? If we just draw the market like this, you're thinking to yourself, oh man, Bitcoin's never going to rally, it's over. But if you'll remember, we made a video back in the day titled How a Clock Will Send Bitcoin to $50,000, and we predicted that Bitcoin would be at $50,000 by the end of the year. I'm not even sure if I still have that chart, but let's see if I do. Right? I have it somewhere. I think I may have deleted it because it was like a year ago. But it's on the channel. You can go back and watch it. We had a, I deleted all my charts, but we had a video predicting that by the end of the year, we'd be trading between $35,000 and $50,000. Well, at the end of the year, we were trading at $45,000. So we hit that perfectly. And the reason that we made that call is the same reason I'm making the same call right now, which is that instead of Bitcoin capitulating and saying, nope, we're done, just fall to the ground, crash, instead of that, Bitcoin is trading sideways. It's holding itself together. Bitcoin is having a quote-unquote crash, as we call it. It is a crash, but it's only 10%. It's a 10% drop, right? And we're not even back down to the bottom here. That's at $56,000. So here's the worst case scenario I see happening right now. You think 64,360 is bad. I think Bitcoin could go down to 60,902 because that is the level that was set back here as our left shoulder. I think Bitcoin could just be building out the right shoulder. We've already got the left shoulder, right? This is even a very, very beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern that's forming because we have these same two little formations right here. We have our right shoulder forming right here, the same way we had our right shoulder forming right here. We have our head right here, and inside of the head of the inverse head and shoulders pattern is another inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is going to be a market that I will use for my cryptocurrency technical analysis education for many moons to come because this is such a beautiful example of what we call a nested inverse head and shoulders pattern. A nested inverse head and shoulders pattern is an inverse head and shoulders pattern within an inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? And both of them have major price targets. This inverse head and shoulders pattern right here, the smaller of the two, has a price target up towards $81,000. The larger inverse head and shoulders pattern gives us a price target that points us all the way up towards $91,000. If we get to a $91,000 Bitcoin, first of all, that's a 50% return from where we are right now. So in and of itself, that's a big deal. But if we get to $91,000, that means we're in, as we say in the South, in spitting distance of 100K, and we're going to end up hitting 100K. Well, what happens when you hit 100K? Well, you're going to hit exactly 100K. It will not be $100,000 and 1 cent. It will be exactly $100,000 and 0 cents because the sell wall there is going to be enormous. And that will probably be our next distribution phase. Bitcoin drops down here to potentially as low as $60,000, maybe even down to $56,000. We get a little lopsided inverse head and shoulders pattern. By the time we rally back up, it's moving on into the end of July. We know Ethereum ETFs are right around the corner. You get Eric Balchunas doing his thing again, saying, oh, I think the Ethereum ETFs are about to be approved. You know, however that plays out, Bitcoin breaks out here above 75K up towards 90 to 100. That's the next phase of the bull market. After that next phase of the bull market, we break up to 90 to $100,000. We've rallied from the new all-time high. We've rallied 40%, and we're definitely in blue sky breakout territory then. And the overall rally is a 65% movement. That's not a 200% movement like we saw down here, but it is roughly a little bit less than the same dollar amount movement. Instead of a $45,000 movement, it's a $40,000 movement. At that point, around $85,000 to $100,000, you start your next distribution phase, and then you distribute 4 months. And then moving on into quarter one of 2025 probably, you start breaking above, and you go up towards $150,000, which is where the all-time high will probably come in, and we'll probably set the all-time high there for the bull market. And so that's what we're looking at right now. That's where Bitcoin is likely to be going. You wanted some history, or not history, you wanted some context about where Bitcoin was going to go. That's where I think it's going to go. And those are the reasons I think they're going to go there. I think Bitcoin's going to have that breakout because the Ethereum ETF is going to come online. ETH is going to break all-time high. You're going to see these altcoins that are crashing right now into great discount territory. They're going to be doing very well for themselves as well. And so I want you to not freak out. If you're afraid, I tell you this all the time. If you're afraid, good. If you're afraid, good. Why are you afraid? If you're afraid, that is your nervous system telling you that I've got something wrong with my investment strategy. Either I'm not running a budget, either I'm in debt, either I don't have enough income, either I'm missing out on the opportunity because I've got chaos and I don't have an investment plan that I'm following. Whatever it is, whatever reason you're scared, there's a reason for that. Why ever you think you're scared, there's a reason that you're scared. So if you're scared right now, no judgment. Ask yourself the question, why are you scared? Why am I scared of this market right now? Why is this freaking me out? It shouldn't be something that is scary. The fact that Bitcoin and crypto is going through a corrective movement, all of the analysis is pointing towards a major uptrend coming. So with all that said, and that's kind of where we're going, then what do we do with that? Well, I want to encourage you to follow something I call the financial sovereignty way. The first step of the FinSov way is to choose FinSov. To repent of foolishness, to get on your hands and knees and ask God to help you. Say, listen, I have been a fool with money. I have not had a budget. I have been playing the debt game. I'm drowning in debt. I have not been investing. I've been a debtor. I have not been generous. I have been greedy and selfish. And money doesn't flow towards the greedy and selfish as much as you might think it does. It really doesn't. The people that build wealth are the people that make a lot of other people around them wealthy, right? So I'm going to repent of that. The second thing, we're going to immediately live on less than we make. Third step of FinSov way, we're going to build a every dollar based budget. You can use Every Dollar by Dave Ramsey. We do. You don't have to. The budgeting app, whatever app you use, you track every single dollar and penny. Same way you would balance a checkbook 30 years ago. Every single dollar and penny. How much money is going in and out. We're living on a budget. We're being intentional. We're living on less than we make. We save a $2,500 starter emergency fund. We pay off all of our consumer debt. Then we save a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. After that, we are through the first two wars. We're through the war on chaos. We're through the war on debt. From that point forward, we get to move into the next steps. We get to move into putting 15% of our income towards retirement. We end up putting extra money into paying off our house. And then we put in extra money on top of those two things into making extra investments like into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And then we hold on to that same strategy forever and we rinse and repeat it and we make a lot of money. And following those principles, we've increased our net worth ever since the beginning of the year by over 50% because we've been following what we preach. We've been following what we teach. I just sold a truck yesterday. So I was very excited about that. We're going to roll that money that came out of the truck that we weren't actually going to end up using like we thought we were. Made a mistake on buying it. Probably wasn't the best idea to buy it, but we ended up doing it. Sold the truck. We're going to put the money straight into investment. We're not even going to enjoy a penny of that, right? We've got money coming in every month from our paycheck, and we're enjoying that. We're going on a flashy trip tomorrow. Not for you guys, just for us. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves as a family, right? Enjoy the time while the kids are little. Have a lot of fun with that. But we're investors, right? We're putting money into places that it grows. I live on the fruit of my labor. I don't live to labor. Right? There's a difference. So if you're scared right now, it's probably because you're not following the financial sovereignty way. If you're scared right now, it's probably because you are violating one of the 6 laws of money. Choose to be financially sovereign, live on less than you make, have a written plan for your money that's called a budget or an investment plan, run from debt, save and invest for the future, and be radically generous. That will set you up to succeed with money. To the proportion that you follow those 6 laws of money, you will succeed. To the proportion that you do not, you will fail. If you follow them 90% of the time, then you're probably still going to make it, but you're going to miss out on some of the opportunities. If you follow them 80% of the time, you still might do okay, but you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. If you follow it 99% of the time, you're really going to get as much of it as you possibly can. So make sure that you're following financial sovereignty. For Hoofty Fluffin said, I'm doing it, Jeb. FinSov. Michael Norris said, FinSov. Tell me, guys, does financial sovereignty work in your life? Are you implementing what we are teaching with financial sovereignty and succeeding with it? I would love to hear what you guys have to say on all of that. Let's read a little bit of chat and then we'll jump back on into the cryptocurrency market. But ask yourself one question. If you're scared of all these assets being down 30%, 10%, 15%, ask yourself one question. Am I financially sovereign? Am I in control over my investments? If I'm worried about being down 30%, is that because I have too much invested in this and I took out too much risk on this? If I'm worried about this investment being down 30%, is it that I did not do my research and I feel like a fool because I should have never bought that? What is it? If your brain starts going clacks on, clacks off, right? Fear, red alert, fire alarm, there's a reason, right? Your brain doesn't do that for no reason. If it is doing that, then that's an anxiety disorder, right? And no shame on you. I've dealt with all kinds of anxiety in my life, but that might be some trauma that you got to work through. Maybe what that alarm is telling you is, hey, we've got some unresolved trauma around money. We got to get some healing on that, right? So whatever it is, if that fear alarm's going off, it's for a reason. There's a good reason. And again, the reason might just be that you've got some trauma that you got to deal with. But whatever it is, you got to do something with it. FinSov is working not if, but when Bitcoin hits this cycle top around 150K. Love it. Shadrach Frost said, I started this process a few years ago after falling in love with this channel and the views you have. I'm 100% on target to be 100% debt-free in less than 5 years. Love to hear it, Shadrach Frost. Very, very, very happy to hear that. Stymie Snurdly said, use Google Sheets and avoid buying Excel. Make your own budgeting spreadsheet. Tell your money where to go instead of figuring out where it went. Yeah, you can totally do that. You can absolutely do a budget on Excel. You just got to make sure that you have all the transactions. That's the main thing. In our budgeting video, I kind of broke down that's going into FinSolve Academy. We're building FinSolve Academy right now. In that video, as you guys will see, and because I'm not going to gatekeep the information, I'll share it here on the channel too. If you want it all in one place in the community, then you're going to want to buy FinSolve Academy when it comes out. It's going to be, you know, it's not going to cost hardly anything. I just want you guys to be able to learn. But in the budgeting, I basically tell you, look, to do a budget, you have to have a couple pieces of information. You got to have the transaction, so the description of the transaction, what it was, the date that it took place on, mainly the month, but the date's helpful. And you need to have the amount. And then you need to have categories to put those in. That's pretty much all a budget is. Like that's basically all a budget is and also whether it's income or expense, right? You need to track that. But those 5 things, that's basically the totality of what a budget is. It's basically the description of the transaction, the amount of money that was spent, the date that it took place on, the category you're putting it in, which is the actual budgeting part. If you're wondering like, oh, well, what is a budget? Budgeting is putting transactions into categories so you know where your money's going. That's all a budget is. I know a lot of people are like, what's a budget? I don't even know what a budget is. That's all it is. Transaction, what was it? I spent this money at Aldi, it's groceries. I spent this money at Walmart, it was clothing. I spent this money at church, it was my tithing and generosity. Whatever it was, right? So building financial sovereignty and building that control over your wealth and seeing where it goes will help you dramatically, because understanding where your money went and telling it where to go, as was said in chat, that is the first step towards building wealth. If you are not on a budget, kiss any chance that you have of building wealth and keeping it goodbye. Because I tried that. And guess what? I made millions of dollars. Like, you don't believe me? I'm not trying to brag. I'm just telling you, riches gained by vanity will soon be diminished. CT2A. Let's see if this will focus. This is an award that I have for over $1 million in sales on that. I don't know if you can see it. Again, I'm not trying to brag. I just need you to understand that I did this the wrong way. The Bitcoin Academy's team for crossing $1 million in sales. We got the 2 Comma Club thing right here. Right? And I helped a lot of people with that. But that whole time, I was teaching you guys how to do technical analysis. Didn't have a budget for my own personal finances. So I was not in control of that multi-million-dollar income. And so I was done with a lot of it. We don't do that anymore. We're like, no, we're on a budget. We know where every penny's going. Not an option. That's just what's going to happen, period. Period. Because I don't ever want to make $1 million again and not know what happened. I don't want to do that. You have any idea what that feels like? Have you ever done that? Let's see if there's one person in chat that has ever done that. Made more than $1 million and then been like, huh, what'd I spend it on? No. Can't do that. It's not an option if you want to build wealth. I'm telling you from firsthand experience that if you don't do what I'm teaching you here, you will fail. So, to tie all that back into Bitcoin, because I know that's what you came for, Bitcoin is in this distribution, which means, by the way, if you're wondering what distribution means, it means that everybody is up here holding Bitcoin. They held Bitcoin through this rally. They're selling it to people that are hoping for the next rally. And there's enough people that are hoping and believing that we're going to go into the next rally that there are enough buyers at these levels to keep the market afloat. And the reason the market's afloat is because enough people believe that we're going to go into another rally. Or else the market would not be going through distribution, it would be going through correction. The market would be going through correction if a lot of people didn't believe that we're about to go into another rally. But we're going into distribution because a lot of people believe that there's going to be another rally. Does that make sense? There's people that are willing to buy at $65,000. And so we're still at $65,000 only because they think we're going to go higher. If they didn't think we were going to go higher, such as, you know, at the tops of the last bull markets, then they wouldn't be buying up there. We would just capitulate. Nobody was buying here down to $35,000 because they didn't think that the market was going to go higher. That's what they thought. You know, some people were buying here because they thought the market was going to go higher. They're wrong. But nobody even thought the market was going to go higher when we ended the last bull market. We've not ended this bull market. We are in distribution, which gives us every bit of confidence that the market believes we're going to go into the next bull market. And the market believes that because there are people that are intent on making it go there. The same people, and people are like, oh, just counter trade the trend. Whatever the trend does, do the opposite. That's stupid, because if 80 or 90% of the market is planning on buying the market and increasing the value of Bitcoin, then maybe you ought to also. Now, you can be a contrarian sometimes, but sometimes being overly contrarian will just get you freaking burnt because you'll miss out on an opportunity. And you'll feel like you'll feel silly because you didn't go through with the purchase that you could have done. So ensure that you are building wealth through FinSov. Queen said, financial sovereignty helped me reduce financial stress. I love. Michael Norris said, right, this is for the community. Absolutely. That's what we want to do. I want to help you guys to succeed. I want our family to succeed, and that's my, my number one priority. But the way that I help our family to succeed is by helping you guys to succeed. That's our whole business here. And so that's why we have sponsors. Make sure to sign up for NordVPN and Vault and Crypto.com and Blowfin and all that jazz with the links in the description box. It helps us to build financial sovereignty for ourselves so that I have wealth and resources to generate for you guys and to give to you guys and to share with you guys. It's my dream to be so totally in control of our finances that we are a light on a hill that cannot be put out. And you guys will see what we're doing and you'll think to yourself, man, if I did that, I could do the same thing. Because when I started this channel, I firmly believed, and I still to this day firmly do believe, that if I do enough of the things that rich people do, if I do enough of the things that wealthy people do, I will end up being wealthy. And you know what's happened? That has ended up being true. It's taken time, but it has ended up happening. And so I want to teach you guys how to do what I have done, which is to gain financial sovereignty over my wealth and to grow it. So today, let's talk a little bit about Cardano, because I haven't talked about Cardano in a minute. And I know a lot of people, somebody just asked in chat to talk about Cardano. Here's the thing with Cardano. I'm confident in Cardano. I love Cardano. I think it's going to do fine. My concern here is that it's not doing it really right now. Cardano is not in a state right now that I'm very happy with its price. I want you to know I am not buying Cardano right now. I've got other financial goals that I believe are going to be more stable, better investments for the long term. Right now, we're working on growing our wealth in other ways. We're working on putting money aside for real estate. We're working on growing a real estate portfolio. We haven't started that yet, but we're going to start putting money aside for that. We've got some plans that we're going to work on. We're going to try and put about $100,000 into that over the next 12 months to get it started, and hopefully even more than that, to getting our real estate, the things that we're doing in real estate off the ground. Right, and with the sale of the truck, that's obviously going to help. We sold it for $41,500 yesterday. Got a check for it. The thing was paid off, obviously, so there's no payoff letter. We just have $41,500 in the bank, which is one of the reasons that you don't do debt, because when you sell something, you get to keep all of the proceeds, right? Which is nice. Anyway, so we are in the position here that I'm not looking at buying Cardano. There's other things in our financial life personally that I feel are better uses of our finances, that are a better risk to reward ratio. Now, Cardano could 10x, right? Totally could 12x, could 20x. That being said, there's also that risk there that Cardano doesn't get the adoption that it needs, and it doesn't have the adoption that it needs. People say, oh, liquid staking. I get it, liquid staking. But when we're doing an apples-to-apples comparison of a lot of the other altcoins like Solana and like Ethereum, the reason that they have such higher TVL is not because the staking is calculated. It's also because there's just so much there's so much activity going on with the layer 2s. So I love Cardano. I think it's incredible technology. I think it could go to $10. But the problem is that it's not showing me a good reason to be confident. In the same time frame that Ethereum went back to almost all-time high. Same time frame that Bitcoin did go back to all-time high. In the same time frame that Solana rallied to almost to all-time high. Binance hit all-time high and broke it and set a new all-time high. In that same time frame, Cardano rallied about 20% of the way that it needed to. 15 to 20% of the way that it needed to get back to all-time high. That's discouraging. It really is. And so while I hold Cardano and I hope it's going to do well, it is definitely not the focal point of my investment right now. And I don't want to be a Cardano hater. I think that it can go to 77 cents. I think it'll probably do that. And I think there's money to be made here. But I'm worried that Cardano is going to turn into more of an XRP than something like an Ethereum that actually makes new all-time highs. XRP has been doing this for years. People say it's great tech, but it doesn't end up hitting all-time high. And so for that reason, I'm just not really interested in XRP. XRP is not a part of my portfolio. Not really all that excited about it. And it might take off, might leave me behind one day. That's fine. I'm building wealth in a bunch of different ways. I don't need XRP to be my avenue to wealth. Cardano might take off, and this little bit of Cardano I hold might do really well, and I might think to myself, man, it would have been nice to have more, but Oh, well, we're building wealth in a lot of different ways. A lot of slow, steady growth. I want to be the tortoise, not the hare, guys. I want to succeed in the long run, and that means not getting wiped out in the short run. And I want to be in the game in 10 years, and that means, you know, playing the game the right way this year. And so I hold Cardano. I'm not going to sell it anytime soon, but I am starting to get a little bit, I do feel that I'm getting a little bit concerned about Cardano. So that's what I'll say on that. It is what it is. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that that's happening, but that's one of the reasons why when we get into crypto, I highly recommend that people put their first money into Bitcoin. First of all, I recommend that nobody invest in cryptocurrency unless they've got all of their debt paid off except for their mortgage first, and that they have a budget. So if you are in the position where you have consumer debt, i.e. non-mortgage debt, and you don't have a budget, I recommend you pause all cryptocurrency investment until you've done that. And you think to yourself, Jeb, what the flip, man? You can build your master's wealth, or you can build your wealth. Those are your options. I didn't make the rules. I'm just the messenger with money. That money is foolish. That debt is foolish, and that the borrower is slave to the lender. And in Romans 13:8, owe no one anything except for love. It cannot be stated any more clearly and plainly than that, right? So get out of debt, have a budget and an investment plan, then be an investor. You cannot invest your way out of stupid. I just showed you the whole $1 million thing right over there, and then not having been a very good manager of it, not being a very, very sovereign steward of it. It doesn't get you anywhere. You can't out-earn stupid, and if you don't believe me today, then you might just have to end up, you know, doing that for 5 or 10 years to realize that this old Jeb guy knew what he was talking about. You can't out-earn stupid. You can't out-earn foolishness. It's not going to work. Ashkiro Moxie asked a question, said, can I see your question? Let's see. Yeah, you're talking about ADA. Yeah, oh, yeah. So if you're asking about ADA, then I see that. I don't see another question, Ashkiro. If you want to ask it again, you're welcome to. I'm going to read a little bit of chat. Before I do, I want to let you guys know a little bit about one of our sponsors, Vault by Uphold. Guys, I'm very excited about this product because this makes crypto self-custody better. Here's how this works. You got 2 keys. You need both of them to get into the vault. Should you lose one of them, Uphold can regenerate that lost key through the Uphold key, and then you can reset the whole wallet and get back into it. Your vault has 3 keys. 2 are always required to move assets, and you are in control. You are in control, and you are secure. Those are 2 of the most important foundational building blocks for investment in any market. So make sure you sign up for Vault by Uphold with the link in the description box down below. So should the right shoulder be completed in July? I think so. I think it will. I think it will. All right. Let's read a little bit more chat. Let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, like I said, I want to make sure that I rehash this. The stream will not be happening tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday because I am going to be out of town with my family. We're going on a trip to kind of just spend some time together before the baby gets here. We have a newborn on the way. You know, in the next 8 weeks, we will almost certainly be giving birth. And so we're going to be going and taking one last trip, one last little hurrah of spending time together before our little awesome, beautiful, precious bundle of joy shows up and keeps us up all night. So we're going to be gone for the rest of this week. I am going to do my best. There will be a video coming out this afternoon because I shot it before the stream. And I'm going to do my best to shoot some videos for the rest of the week. No promises, but the plan is for you to have a phone video, kind of a, you know, like a, hi guys, you know, video for the rest of the week. So stay tuned for that to keep things going. And really excited to see you guys as that continues to progress. Also, guys, make sure to check out crypto.com. They are the leading cryptocurrency trading platform trusted by over 100 million users for a good reason. This is an excellent place to make money in crypto because there's so many ways to do so, especially the staking. See, guys, I don't buy real estate in debt. I will never buy real estate in debt ever again. And so we're going to be saving up money to buy our first rental property in cash. And while we're doing that, we're going to be making 5 to 10, maybe even 15% on our money by staking the money in cryptocurrency liquid staking. So if you want to follow me along on that journey, then check out crypto.com and start staking on crypto.com your cryptocurrency so that you can generate some yield. On some of the stable coins, you can earn up to 10%, which is incredible. And over here in the Crypto Earn program, even on your Bitcoin, you can earn up to 7%. So make sure, as a private member, so make sure that you sign up for crypto.com with the link in the description box down below. And very excited to see you guys succeeding. All right. All right. Shadrach Frost said, enjoy. We drove back from Gatlinburg area yesterday. Long drive to southern Wisconsin. Boom. Shout out to you. Gatlinburg's beautiful this time of year. I'm wearing an Appalachian Trail t-shirt from Gatlinburg right now. All right. I was born in Gatlinburg, so I got dibs on it, right? All right. We're going to wrap it out. Hope you have enjoyed. listen to the people in chat saying FinSov is working for them. I want you to go from being a chaotic debtor to an intentional investor, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So if you haven't already and you're not convinced, hit the subscribe button. 30 days. Give it 30 days. If you decide you don't like the content, say, all right, I'm out. Come back in a couple years. We'll have grown a lot. Try again, right? But if you have any indication that you think that this content is going to help you or someone else, subscribe to the channel, because I genuinely believe that if you follow the principles of financial sovereignty, the laws of money, the financial sovereignty way, and what we're teaching, you will succeed with money in every sense of the word. You will grow your wealth. You will also have more peace with your wealth, and you will be more stable. You will have less stress, and you will be more prosperous and able to thrive and be more generous than ever before. So stay tuned. We're going to teach you how to succeed. Come along for that journey, because I want to see you win. Before we go, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good